Second video in a series of me clearing out my inbox. I have a bunch of text files. I erased a bunch of them. And this one is starting with the one that left off. I'm going to dump these all on maybe all the channels or just one. Homemade firearms are not regularly tracked. See also, they're not required to be tracked. See also that it would be of practically no value to do so because A, it isn't happening very much. It just doesn't. Most people don't make their own guns. And secondly, if people told you that you have to register something you made, that they can't check that you registered, you're not going to. And one of the cases, California, where people were allowed to get a serial number on a single shot pistol so they'd have something to defend themselves with, the state of California then went back on their word and told people they had to turn in their weapons and they were going to go screw with them. People then contacted them and said, here's the pieces of the barrel. I split it up the middle. Not like I can make 15 more. It's not that gun control doesn't work. It's that lying about what you mean when you say something, California, does actually make people stop believing you. Nobody should trust the state of California when they say shit. And any state that says they're not going to abuse power is obviously ignorant of their past. CNC machines that you can use for milling. That's computer numerical control. I forgot to do a video on it. It means there's a computer doing control of the machine by feeding it literally numbers for vectors. Move here to here to here to here. There's a bunch of versions of that. If you build something or have something like that, including software labeled Ghost Gunner, that specific wording, for some reason, that's going to be something somebody won't just change. UPS and FedEx won't transport a computer if it lists that. Okay, what about Most Gunner? What about Spooky Gunner? What about not using plastics and just making things out of metal like your granddad did? U.S. State Department has sued to erase 3D printer internet files and publications of gun making instructions, and this is going to work on the fucking internet. I put it up on my Google Docs or on my web page. I archive it. Now you have to go through archive.org and archive.today, which have vowed, in the case of Archive Today, to never erase anything unless it violates, even their policies. Also, the fact that I could just put something up and just encrypt it and stuff it someplace. I've done that. Under the export of munitions, under the International Trade in Arms Regulations, ITAR, from 1976, you're not allowed to release information on how to make a gun, even though it's literally everywhere. You're not allowed to tell people how to make YouTube videos either. That's proprietary information. You know what? At one time, I memorized the most commonly used serial number to load up Windows for every operating system. I was literally a munition as far as they were concerned, because somehow Windows 95 became a munition. I'm used to this. I was declared a munition because I could literally type the encryption and decryption routine for PGP, pretty good privacy. I wasn't allowed to leave the United States because I literally walked around with that. I didn't get the tattoo of the damn algorithm because there were 5 different ones every week coming out where people came out with interesting ways of doing it. Don't tell us we're not allowed to talk to each other or we don't have a right to freedom of speech. We'll bypass you, you sons of bastards. Sorry, but this makes me angry. International traffic in arms regulation, the regulation against international traffic. Just because an American wants to be able to make something without you being able to control them doesn't mean they're giving it to the Soviets. By the way, did you notice that most of the the Ghost Gunner projects are coming out of Russia? Oh, you can't import it from them. We're stealing from the Ruskies and you're pissed. You know what's funny is even the Russian government won't prosecute people for it because even they're not totalitarian enough. Anyway, let's go on. 2018, the Department of Justice was compelled to acknowledge the right to publish instructions for production of firearms since they've been around for 200 fucking years. There are literally books on how to build a flintlock. What the fuck you gonna do if we go to the library? By the way, someone pointed out, this was at a library. I just did a video where I mentioned that someone just simply copied a cap and ball pistol revolver from the 1880s. That's all he did. He just copied an old patent. Well, you can't have that. The patent is a U.S. federal government publication. It's literally public domain. It's illegal to erase a patent. I don't know if you know that, but the patent office is not permitted to erase a patent once it becomes public. They have to acknowledge it exists. If you ask for a copy, they have to print it. Now they're guilty of ITAR violation because they send it as an email and they don't have the ability to prevent you from doing it from another country. So anyway, they dropped that subject because it was fucking stupid. Well, to prevent people from copying those floppies. That really works great when we can just notch our discs. If you don't know what a disc notcher is, you're probably a lot younger than me. Anyway, here we go. 2014, California tried to require serial numbers on unfinished receivers and all other firearms and antique guns. Required anyone in 2016 planning to build a homemade firearm to buy a serial number and pass a background check, registration, and tax. And then after they complied with these rules, used their database to go fuck with people illegally because they claimed they weren't going to do it. Well, we're giving you amnesty. I didn't break a law. It's not illegal to make a gun. Well, we know you're up to something. When you go into a gun buyback, it looks really sketchy. You have people saying, yeah, I'll buy a gun from you. We won't keep a record of it. And when you get the money from them, they say, okay, fuck off. They treat you like shit. You're dirt. We know you're a drug dealer. No, it's somebody who just pulled the wool over on you because it was Royal Nunsuch and he gave you a metal pipe literally rope tied to a chunk of wood. You give $100 to somebody who gave you $12 worth of parts. Actually, he found one of them. The fun thing is, yeah, some of the pipes he actually posted. I found the pipe on the side of the road on the way there. I made another gun in the car. Y'all putzin'. So anyway, here we go. Next. New Jersey state law 2018 prevents the manufacturing and purchasing of guns or parts that are or can become untraceable. How the hell do you determine that? It's a block of aluminum. Yeah, it's a 0% lower. That didn't go over very well. Connecticut in 2019. Law banning plastic, undetectable guns and require all guns to have a serial number obtained from them. But how are you going to enforce it if they're undetectable? Here's our invisible aircraft. Oh, one crashed. Here's some wreckage. Totally stealth. Sorry, I had to do the joke. The NRA approved Undetectable Firearms Act made any firearm that cannot be detected by a metal detector illegal to make till the year 2023 for some fucking reason. The NRA also backed the NFA and all the other alphabet shit. They do that whenever it's convenient for them, as long as there's an exemption for the military-industrial complex to keep making money because they take their money from them, not you and me. Don't ever forget that. There was an invention of smart guns that can only be fired by the registered owner who registered them. And of course it was made in such a way that it identified fingerprints, which are easily copied. That's been proven on Mythbusters and a dozen other places. He also tried to do a microchip thing. The easiest way to do this, if you're not aware of it, is to have an inconspicuous piece of jewelry like the band for a wristwatch. People wear it on the other hand. You have to have the other hand close to the gun. And you just stick an RFID chip, a little, thing, into the leather of the band or the plastic of it, and that's all you need to do. Someone has to figure out what piece of jewelry it is. It isn't on a ring. Don't put it on a fucking ring. And the other one is to have it to where it just has to be held by you, and it sends a radio signal out that does conduct through your skin, and it goes to your wallet. Unless someone steals your wallet and the gun, it can't be used. That's great. Every design anybody's come up with, one guy created one that's really neat. Okay, what does it do? Well, it does this thing with a really small amount of electrical power. But to fail-safe it, if the battery dies, it becomes usable by anybody. So, the first 4 times, some hacker at a conference figured out, where's the battery? It's here. Dead battery. Bang, bang. Just keep your gun away from other people. Don't load it. This is why I tell people that, magazine-fed pistols are not a bad thing. Put an empty magazine in it that you don't care about, preferably a broken one. Keep the good magazine hidden on your person. You have to learn to pull, clap, bang, bap. You can do it this fast. That's pretty fast. Or you can just carry it loaded correctly and just actually learn how to carry a gun. Anyway, let's get on with it. Here we go. 5 years in prison for new age untraceable firearms designed to evade detection by law enforcement and sidestep regulations on sale or possession, sold without background checks or serial numbers, and cannot be traced back to an owner when used in a crime. The number of guns that are used in crimes is too damn high. The number of untraceable guns? Okay. That's actually something I need to do a video about. I'm going to remind myself. Reducing the legal capacity of gun magazines, outlawed purchasing the parts to make ghost guns or a gun without serial number that can be assembled using parts bought individually or as part of a kit, often via the internet. Making 3D printable gun or distribution the design for one, illegal. Manufacturing, selling, or possessing covert firearms which is disguised to resemble other objects such as a keychain, smartphone, cigarette lighter, cane, or personal protection or masturbator. Manufacturing, selling, or possessing undetectable firearm which is made of material not recognized by a metal detector. All of these are against the rules. What's funny is the smart gun that could only be fired by one person was actually made almost entirely out of plastic, which is kind of funny. And also the original Glock, which I'd like to see the original design, was at the time undetectable. Now we have X-ray machines and slash security scanners. They're just scanners. We don't even call them X-ray machines. They can detect anything, whether it has metal in it or not, and tell you the shape and identify it by using image grabbing data. If it has the shape that matches having the characteristics of a gun, it is detectable. The metal doesn't matter anymore. These rules were passed right before we gained the ability to scan things passively. It seems silly. Next, by the way, again, the barrel, again, for the billionth time, the barrel has to actually work. You could just make it resonate down the barrel at the wavelength that you have to have for the barrel to work at all for any conventional ammunition. Unless somebody's making a closed-ended piece, meaning it would have to be a muzzleloader, you're going to be able to detect it. Fire the radio signals at multiple angles. If you get a return echo at a specific wavelength, that's a gun barrel. They're all 50 caliber and lower for most practical weapons. They really are. It just ends up being that way. Anything larger than that would be, a rifle barrel, or it could be anything. Cast metal action. Rolled steel barrel. Big game toys. Double barrel upland hunter. Monte Carlo side-by-side shotgun rifle. Removable shells cap gun toy. That was going to be a list of things I was going to put into a video. But basically, there's this company that makes an all-metal, literally an all-metal, little tiny, double-barrel 12-gauge shotgun miniature. What's its bore diameter? 410 shotgun. It's a toy shotgun that would actually fire 410 shotgun shells. The toy shells are 410 shotgun shells. Someone found out about it that it's off only by a tiny amount, and literally doing a cylinder, just do a bore reaming on it, they'll fire a 410 shotgun shell. They're perfectly functional to it. The trouble is, well, the barrel isn't going to take it, number one. Number two, it's real metal. It's a blocked bore, it has screws going through it to hold it together, blah, blah, blah. But someone figured out, I can take a toy gun and put real barrels on it. Okay. But all you've done is make a street legal because they're long barreled. They made them the same length legally as you would have for a shotgun. It's 26 inches overall length and has an 18-inch barrel set. So what you have there is basically a poorly designed, very weak, it ain't going to last very long 410 shotgun. But it's street legal, so converting it is, you'd copy the design in real metal and do a good job. Anyway, that was the list of random stuff I looked up months ago. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. This is part 2.